They're charging you twice, sir, the black girl said. The billionaire checked the books all night. The restaurant was packed. Crystal glasses clinked. Soft jazz floated through the room. Wealthy executives laughed over expensive dinners while servers rushed from table to table. No one noticed the quiet young cashier standing behind the register. Until one sentence changed everything. They're charging you twice, sir. The words were soft, respectful, but impossible to ignore. The man she was speaking to was Daniel Harrison, one of America's most successful self-made billionaires. Although he owned companies worth billions, he often visited restaurants alone, dressed simply, wanting to experience life without special treatment. Most people never recognized him. The cashier, Nia Brooks, certainly didn't. She was 23 years old, working 2 jobs while studying accounting at a community college at night. Every paycheck helped support her widowed mother and younger brother. She had learned one lesson from her mother. If something is wrong, fix it, even if nobody notices. As Daniel prepared to pay his bill, Nia quietly compared the receipt to the digital order. Something felt off. She checked again, then again. The same bottle of wine had been charged twice. A premium steak had also appeared twice on the invoice. Nearly $4,800 had been added by mistake. She looked up. Sir, I think they've billed you twice. Daniel smiled politely. It's all right. No, she answered. It's not all right. It's your money. I'll fix it. She called the floor manager. The manager barely glanced at the receipt. It's correct. Nia frowned. I checked 3 times. The system duplicated the items. The manager's smile disappeared. Just process the payment. But, I said process it. The restaurant became uncomfortably quiet. Daniel watched without saying a word. Nia lowered her voice. I can't knowingly overcharge a customer. The manager glared at her. Then maybe this isn't the job for you. Several employees looked away. Nobody wanted to become involved. Finally Daniel gently asked, would you mind printing another copy? Nia nodded. She carefully reviewed every item. There. She circled the duplicated charges. The total should be almost $5,000 less. Daniel thanked her. He paid the corrected amount. Before leaving, he asked one simple question. How long have you worked here? 8 months. And you're studying accounting? Yes, sir. He smiled. I hope you finish. I will. She said it with quiet determination. That evening Daniel couldn't stop thinking about the young cashier. Not because she had saved him money. He could have lost $50,000 without noticing. What stayed in his mind was this. She had risked her job to protect a complete stranger. That kind of honesty couldn't be taught. Curious, Daniel called his private office. I want a complete audit. Of which company? The restaurant chain. His assistant sounded surprised. The whole chain. Every location. The audit began the next morning. 3 days later, the first report arrived. Daniel stared at the numbers. Then he asked for every financial record going back 5 years. He barely slept. Night after night he sat surrounded by invoices, spreadsheets, and transaction reports. By sunrise, his office looked like a mountain of paperwork. The deeper he looked, the worse it became. Thousands of duplicate charges, small billing errors, hidden service fees, refunds quietly canceled, tiny amounts that most customers never questioned. Each mistake looked insignificant. Together, they had generated nearly $82 million in illegal profits. Daniel sat in silence. One honest cashier had uncovered what expensive consultants had completely missed. The next morning emergency meetings were called across the company. Executives blamed software. Managers blamed accounting. Accounting blamed technology. Daniel simply asked one question. Who noticed first? Nobody answered. I'll tell you. A cashier making barely above minimum wage. Silence filled the room. She protected customers. What exactly have the rest of you been protecting? Within 48 hours several executives were suspended. Outside investigators were hired. Customers began receiving automatic refunds. Every affected family received an apology letter. The story quickly reached the news. But Nia never expected what happened next. She arrived at work Monday morning. The manager who had ignored her was waiting. You embarrassed this restaurant. Corporate is coming. You'll probably lose your job. Nia simply nodded. If telling the truth costs me my job, so be it. An hour later black SUVs stopped outside. Employees gathered near the entrance. Daniel Harrison walked inside. The restaurant instantly fell silent. The manager hurried over with a nervous smile. "Mr. Harrison, we had no idea you owned." Daniel walked past him, straight to the register. He looked at Nia. "Good morning." She smiled politely. "Good morning, sir." He held up the corrected receipt. "I came back for 2 reasons." She looked confused. "First, to thank you. Second, to apologize." She blinked. "Apologize? My company failed its customers." "You didn't." The entire staff listened quietly. Daniel turned toward everyone. This young woman demonstrated more integrity than people making 7-figure salaries. Then he faced Nia again. "I hear you're studying accounting." "Yes." "How much tuition do you still owe?" She hesitated. "A little over $26,000. Daniel smiled. "Not anymore." Tears filled her eyes. I can't accept that." "Yes," he replied softly. "You can. And there's more." He handed her a folder. Inside was a full university scholarship, a paid internship, health insurance for her mother, and a guaranteed accounting position after graduation. Nia could barely speak. "You don't even know me." Daniel smiled. "I know enough. You protected someone when there was nothing to gain. That's exactly the kind of person I want helping protect millions of customers." Months passed. Nia excelled in her internship. She wasn't afraid to ask difficult questions. She noticed problems others ignored. She improved financial systems, reduced errors, protected customers, inspired coworkers. Eventually Daniel invited her into his office. He handed her another folder. She opened it slowly. "Vice President of Customer Integrity." She looked shocked. "I'm only 24. Daniel laughed. "I wasn't looking for experience. I was looking for character." Years later the company became one of the most trusted businesses in North America. Customer complaints dropped dramatically. Employee satisfaction reached record highs. Honesty became part of the company culture. During an interview, a reporter asked Daniel, "What was the best investment you ever made?" People expected him to mention technology, or real estate, or the stock market. Instead he smiled. "A cashier who refused to let one customer be overcharged." Across the room, Nia quietly laughed. She still carried the original receipt in a small frame on her office wall. Not because of the money, but because it reminded her that doing the right thing, even when nobody supports you, can change lives. Before every meeting, she repeated the same words her mother once told her: "If something is wrong, fix it, even if nobody notices. Because someone always notices eventually. Sometimes, it's the person whose life you're protecting. And sometimes, it's the opportunity you've been waiting for all along." The greatest fortunes aren't built only with money. They're built with honesty, with courage, with compassion, and with ordinary people willing to do the right thing when it would be easier to stay silent. If this story inspired you, remember this: integrity may not reward you immediately, but it has a way of opening doors that talent alone never can. One honest decision can change not only your future, but the future of everyone around you.